Okay, we're recording. State planet of origin? Okay, yesterday you told us you traveled, and I quote, thousands of light years to get here. Yes. Tell us the truth, or the word, or never we hear. It is truth. I thought it off. Thrown off usual. To travel is hard. As to travel is space. Elephants machine to oceans. So I take it aliens took over our future, right? No. So you're human. Okay, so you evolved from us. Yes. So what are you doing here now? Yourself. Somebody just destroyed. How? Now. No. Speed levels support. No. Ancestors. Okay, so how about we concentrate on your time? Try me. Wait, so you know the meaning of life? What's the difference? So you know how the universe is created? Yes. So you think God? Okay, illuminate us. What happens when we die? Okay, so let me get this straight. There's no death, and we all experience each other's lives, right? Yes. Okay, so how was the universe created, and why is it so perfectly made for us? Moving on. Okay, so why do we destroy ourselves with nuclear war? Can you be more specific, please? Okay, one last thing. What about morality? What do you base your morality on? I see. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Hey, speak. Orchard, wow, are you scared of me? Because you should be. Okay, so you say you're from the future and an evolutionary descendant of humans. You also say you're a different species. So, which one is it? Are you a descendant of humans or not? Then how do you know English? Answer me. If you don't answer, I'll administer another round of Scorpoli until your system collapses. Do you understand? Now, how do you speak English? So you just picked up English, just like that. Because you're so smart, right? Right. So, you said you know the origin of the universe, but you did not provide an explanation. So I ask you again, how was the universe created? Answer the question. Really? But you can't create something out of nothing. Sure it is. Only a creator can make something from nothing. Wait, you just contradicted yourself. So? Wait, but you said there's an origin to the universe. There it is. I caught you in a lie. Right, so now you're talking nonsense. Again, how was the universe created so miraculously? So, like just happened, right? So are you telling me we're just random? How so? Such as? So the universe doesn't care if we live or die. I don't believe that for a second. We're more than just random. So, if we're just random, then there's no meaning to the universe. So if there's no meaning in the universe, then what's the point of living? You just contradicted yourself again. before was. You can't live a life at all. Do you think the meaning is all made up? All species, all humanity, all points of order, the false belief. The meaning is mystical, God. This is what. So, what is meaning? Is what you heard it. Okay, moving on. You said we humans would die as a species. So, tell me, when does the nuclear war start? So, tell me, when does the nuclear war start? It is not my place to try to destroy. What? No. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, so, now, tell me, when does the nuclear war start? Okay, by whom? Really, boss? How? Interesting. So it's easy like that. Oh, well great. So just tell me the name of the people. Of course. Alright, so just tell me what he does. So don't blow up. Only a million lives. Okay, so how do we stop this? Okay, so if we stop this lunatic from blowing us up, we'll be fine, right? Wait, but you just said that if we stop him, we won't be destroyed. And what would...
Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David, reborn again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the video we just watched, and we're going to get into some declarations that Esau, which is the biblical name for the so-called Caucasian race, is currently making in regards to disclosure of an alien race and how that is a bunch of lies. But before we get into that or this video we just watched, let's read this. The 2 Corinthians 2:11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So, like that scripture said, there are many Satan's devices upon the earth, and this video we just watched is one of these devices that Satan is using or is going to use to manipulate the masses, the world, and the current narrative that they're trying to push, which is that there are aliens, right, and that they come from outer space, right? But there's a deeper truth to this, and for understanding on that, let's read this. This is a breakdown of where aliens actually come from. You see, there was a Satanist by the name of Aleister Crowley who lived the early 1900s, right? And this man was the devil, right? Or he was a devil, right? He was a Satanist, which he got into a bunch of occult information. He himself influenced many musical, stars like the Beatles, for example. They had him on his cover. And also he wrote books like that are very popular called the Book of the Law and the Lesser Keys of Solomon, the Goetia, which is basically the book of demons. Okay, this is has nothing to do with King Solomon, but ultimately it was a book translated from I believe the Egyptian hieroglyphs to English by this guy, Aleister Crowley. Besides this, we've also probably heard of the book or the Emerald Tablets of Thoth that also was translated by this man. And like I said, he ultimately was just one of the biggest Satanists of his times. And because of that, his information, his doctrine, his influence spread into the musical realm, which for the most part was taken over by the elite of our society, right? You could listen to the testimony of John Todd, who was an ex-Satanist turned Christian, who basically came out and spilled the entire beans, showing how the witches, who for the most part run the world, have control over the music industry, and then basically put in their influence. Right here you see John Lennon also was one of the people, like the Beatles, who was influenced by him. Now, back to this. Let's read it. This is a quote from Aleister Crowley. It says, "Today they call them angels and demons. Tomorrow they will call them something else." Aleister Crowley. Now it says, "Are aliens really demons? There are many commonalities between what we call an alien life form and a demonic entity. The occultists, like Aleister Crowley, wrote about the connections, explaining that an intelligence was brought into physical manifestation via a portal that was created during a sex magic ritual called Elementhra working in 1918. The entity that was summoned called itself Lamb." This is an image of him right here. It says, "The entity that was summoned called itself Lamb, and Crowley considered it to be an interdimensional being, and it strongly resembled the great aliens of modern UFO research." So this is what this alien is, okay? So what you're looking at here, if this is even true, which I doubt it, right? It is, one, it's very disturbing. So I'm sorry, Akim, that I, posted this if it brought you disturbing, feelings, but when that happens, just rebuke it in the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, right? But ultimately, this is a work of these devils, these Edomites, the deceivers of the world, right? Be it that it's true or false. I happen to believe that it's a 3D recreation. It's a very good recreation, but the thing that gives it away is not the amazing graphics or even like the lifelike movements. but it's the narrative that this demon here is pushing. So again, even if this is fake, the projected image here, this is witchcraft. This is a demon that is being basically manifested through witchcraft, which is like the 3D programming, the inspiration that it gave the Edomite that created this image, this video, this came up with this idea. Just as us here, the prophets, how we get inspiration by the Holy Spirit, God, to create these lessons, to create the images, to create all the things that we do for this truth. The devils on the left hand side work with the angels, right? The demons, the left hand angels, to create works of inspirations to them, which are things like this. So again, let's take it for that, right? Let's say that this is a work of Esau, right? It still comes from these devils, right? And it's something that they're trying to manifest, something that they're trying to push out to the world, right? So let's say there's that. And let's say on the opposite side, let's say this is real, and that this in fact is an actual demon that appeared to Esau to that way, to portray that he is, or to pretend that he is an alien from outer space, or as it said, from the future, right? Because again, remember, when you travel through space, you're literally going through time, okay? So that's what this thing was trying to say in the beginning. So again, this thing, right? It's simple message is that that there's gonna be a one person who's gonna come and destroy the world because he's gonna cause nuclear annihilation to happen, right? Which is a bunch of bullshit, right? Because ultimately it's gonna come through by the elites, because there is gonna be nuclear annihilation and World War III is gonna break out, but it's gonna happen by the hands of these elite Edomites at the top. We know them as the 1%ers, the Illuminati, the elitist bankers. The Bible refers to them as the wicked, or the nation of Edom, or the kings of Edom. Now, we also know through the testimony of Werner von Braun, the Nazi NASA scientist who founded NASA, his assistant, she came out and said that they're going to bring out a false alien invasion. And how are they going to do that? Well, they're working with the left-hand angels, the very top of the elites, these that who know they're Edomites. They understand that we're playing in a biblical narrative, right? So hence they work with the left-hand angels, which is why they're into sacrificing, which is why they're into these rituals. As you just read with Aleister Crowley, they're into these sex magic rituals and sacrificial rituals, right? Well, what you're seeing here is simply part of the illusion, part of the deception, which is coming, and I believe it's already here. We're already seeing it making its ways through the halls of the Senate, the halls of Congress. It has already gone through, and pretty soon this is going to manifest in about 2 days, which, let's go ahead and read this, right? But before we get into the legal and political aspect of this right here, be it a 3D projection or an actual demon, a left-hand angel here to deceive us, right? He is doing it. He's lying, right? Because what's going on is he's not giving the truth. And what did the Bible warn us about angels giving a different gospel? Well, let's read it. This is Galatians 1:8. But though we, or an angel from heaven, because again, this here, even if it's a demon, only thing demons are left-handed angels. Angels working under the control and the power of Satan, right? They're all God's creatures, okay? And they have a job. And what is that job? Is to work with the left-hand power to deceive humanity and to basically push forward the agenda that God has put for the left-hand side of the narrative of the world, okay? So this right here, if it's true, would be an angel of heaven. But though we, or an angel of heaven, preach any other gospel unto you, that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. There you go, right? Because again, like this guy said, or like this thing said here, right? That because notice the things he was saying is that because he used the word dogma, and what dogma is basically religion or belief or faith, right? He says that there's no need for God, right? So again, this is just, like I said, again, this is what makes me believe this is fake, because again, the narrative that this thing is pushing is Esau's MO, right? It pushes atheism, it pushes that there's, that this political system, which is a fucking sham, right? That this is the thing that's keeping us, on the safe path, and we got to protect it, right? And we got to watch over that somebody's going to come and deceive the masses. And this came out a couple of years ago during the Trump administration, right? So this obviously was more likely created as an anti-Trump, propaganda or whatnot. But it could even apply to Biden. But the whole point being is that this right here, it's more likely fake, but it's pushing a particular narrative to get people to start thinking, right? Because this right here, be it that it's a real demon actually portraying an alien, or more likely it's Esau creating this 3D imagery, pushing his own narrative, it's to do this. It's to push forward this narrative here, which, let's watch the political aspect of this. And by the way, so that way you know who this is, it says, this is an excellent video of former Canadian Defense Minister, late Paul Hellier's statement from the NHI. So we made time agreements with your leaders as to when your people would be made aware of our presence.
Yes, it's true that we have been in contact with your government and heads of power. It is also true that we have been It is also true that agreements have been made and kept secret from your people. It is also true that in the past some of your people have lost their lives or have been badly hurt to protect the secret. Our hands had no part in this. We contacted your leaders because your planet is in grave trouble. Your leaders said the vast majority of your population wasn't ready for anything like us yet. So we made time agreements with your leaders as to when your people would be made aware of our presence.
The biggest takeaway for folks to understand is that things are happening on it's not a disclosure, it's a scheduled dissemination. And so certain things have to be set up before other things can be revealed.
Now, does the military know how to do this and all? Yes, they have known for a long time. Do the civilians know how? No. It's a time-released schedule. Is it now? Can I release it? Yes.
What was that device at the front called?
Because going back to disclosure is a process, and all the work that you've done since 2017, you and your team, am I wrong to have sensed a little bit of urgency in this as well?
There is a sense of urgency because, people said, well, why now? Well, because it's not on our time scale, not on our timeline. It's not up to us. They're here, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. They're here. The question is why? What's the purpose? We need to start asking ourselves some pretty direct questions about this topic. There is a sense of urgency because every day that we fail to acknowledge and recognize what's really going on, we stay in the veil of darkness. This is real. This is here. This is now. Our country has already acknowledged. I mean, I hate to say this, but disclosure's already happened. We now have the acknowledgement from former and current directors of national intelligence and CIA and presidents and I mean, everybody says, yeah, it's real. It's here.
That's
right.
a scary thing.
Well, I think the dialogue we're having now in this country, even with the recent legislation that passed through the legislature and is on its way up to the president's desk, even with that, we're kind of preparing the U.S. population at least, and by extension, the world population, into that reality that there is a presence here, and that we need to explain this presence. Because if they show up and we continue to do what we did before in previous decades, and they show up, there will be mass panic. But if you understand that these are real, and we have 5 years from 2022, or maybe now 4 years, if they come in 2027, for the U.S. government to prepare the people about what is up there. And in many ways, I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up. in 2027, and we better be prepared. And if not, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do.
If our guys are going to, our representatives are going to actually start using the phrase non-human intelligence, they're not doing that, as you point out, because it's a lark. They're doing it because they've heard something that makes them believe right now that there is non-human intelligence. The second part of this that disturbs me, though, is there seems to be a rush to now try to talk about it. So after years and years and years, decades and decades and decades, where this has all been kind of pushed aside and nobody dared speak the word alien or extraterrestrial, let alone non-human intelligence, now they're all starting to do it. And they're doing it fast. And they're talking about hearings that we'll be talking about in a moment that are coming up fast. And they're going to have some shocking things in them. And the only thing I can think of is there's got to be a reason why the powers that be in Washington, D.C. are starting to say we need to actually say the words out loud, and we need to get language in right now to get this taken care of. And I'm concerned, Ross, that at the end of the day, the only thing that would make a politician do that and act in that sort of enhanced way where they're in a hurry is that there's some bad news involved in this. And I don't know exactly what it is. And I know that you don't know exactly what it is. People are talking. It's hard to sort out what the sources mean or don't mean. But, you know, as I said, Chuck Schumer was and has been a cautious man in many cases. And I don't think he'd be talking like this and pushing this if he didn't think there was a fire behind his back pushing him to do so.
Look, I've got a pretty clear idea of what the government knows, and I can understand why they're moving to expedite. Yes, there is a constraint of time. The government knows that it really does have to tell the truth to the public after years of treating this subject with derision and ridicule.
But we are rapidly moving to a place where it's not about proving they're real. It's about understanding them and trying to analyze what it's going to mean for the future that we're all about to live in. And I have to say, candidly, in this last month, honestly, folks, I've had more than a few moments where I literally just have to sit down in my quiet house and start to contemplate what's really happening here, and what does it mean to me? What does it mean to you? What about my family? You know, I have children. What's their world going to look like? Is this world going to be a better one or a worse one? And frankly, is there anything that any of us can do to impact that? I just have so many questions swirling around. And I know a lot of you must be starting to feel the things that I'm feeling, where you ask yourself, what's happening? Is this real? If this is real, I can't even believe this. I feel like it's time for us to look to the future, even as we cover this story in the present.
But responsible decisions need to be made here. They need to be made. But that's why I believe this C3, this UFO C3 organization that we're talking about putting together, you know, we're talking about it right now, the Institute for Preparing Our Human Family for Contact. You know, that's what this is. This is an actual preparation of our human family for contact with an extraterrestrial civilization.
So as you've seen in that video, there's a lot of talking going on amongst the talking heads within the disclosure community, right? And the reason is because what's going on in the background, right? When you look past all the distractions that are going on, and even look past the economy and everything, what's happening is, you know, behind the scenes, as this Slate article says here, it says, we're about to find out what we really know about UFOs. Nothing will ever be the same again. This is published today on the 24th, right? And I'm going to skip over this little part, just an introduction, but the point is right here, okay? Because in about 2 days, Congress is going to basically hear the updated testimony of this military insider Commander Grush or whatever his name is. Like, I made a video about him, but just like he released I think it was like 2-3 months ago, he was like the military whistleblower who came out that said that these are, that there are aliens and that, the U.S. is in possession of this alien information. He's going to come back to Congress on Wednesday and give an even more revealing testimony. So we'll have to wait to see what Esau has to say about that. But let's go and read this so that way you get an idea of what Esau's planning. It says, 6 years later, 2 of the journalists who worked on the report for the Times, Leslie Keane and Ralph Blumenthal, right? Notice that name, published an article in the Debrief in which the former intelligence officer named David Grosh claimed, right? So this right here is the, I think, Army general who came out. He's a whistleblower. Claimed that the government and various aerospace companies possessed objects of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, including not just aircraft or seacraft in some cases, but bodies of the creatures that piloted those vehicles. Grush has already testified before Congress in closed-door sessions and will join others in the public testimony that has been scheduled in the House of Representatives, Congress, for July 26. Despite the fact that the UFOs have been in popular culture for decades, there's something about this moment that feels categorically different. After Keane and Blumenthal initial report, we're no longer in tinfoil hat territory. There's no music from the X-Files or clips from Independence Day playing in the newscast. This time, we have a high-ranking former intelligence official claiming that much of what the fringiest conspiracy theorists have long claimed regarding UFOs might have a tinge of truth about it, and Capitol Hill is taking his claims seriously. So you see that? Let's read this. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, right? Talking about those who are going to die, right? The 2/3 along with the wicked, right? Because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie. You see that? That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. So you see, the truth is being preached out to the world. The gospel, right? The good news for the Israelites and the destruction for the heathens is being preached all around the world, right? You're seeing it every day, right? With lessons like this that the apostles, me, the other brothers are pushing out there, along with us being out on the streets, pushing this truth, showing the people what the truth is. But what's happening? Because they believed not the truth, what is the Lord going to do to them? God shall send them a delusion that they should believe a lie. And what is that delusion? Well, you're looking at it, okay? These devils are going to bring these UFOs, right? Which, again, here's a video of one that was released in Colombia in 2022. And again, notice it's a physical ship, right? And it's not a ball of light, which is what usually is what the chariots of the Lord look like, right? This is a physical object that's moving in a physical manner, okay? And why is that? Well, because you see, Esau, he is in possession of advanced technology, right? When you look into the military and even the elite's top technology, they're about 100 years more advanced than just the standard society, right? It's been proven, right? You've heard about the subsonic attacks that happened over in Cuba, in the American embassy, right? That the Russians apparently attacked the embassy with, right? You see things like the Fringe TV show, and you hear about all these crazy things that the CIA has at their disposal, the Mossad and all these clandestine organizations, right? Well, what's happening is Esau is now bringing them out into the open. They're letting people see, right? They're bringing them out slowly and they're making it very obvious. And why is that? Well, because they're trying to sell the world a narrative, right? Here's other images of these devices, right? They have them flying, or these aircraft, right? They have them flying by airplanes, right? But here's another thing, right? These aircraft are already known. This is from military.com. And this is supposedly the top secret chariot of Esau, right? It's a triangle spacecraft, right? And it's called the TR-3B. And I made a video about this too, showing that these are the chariots that Esau is made. And how has he made it? I'm sure he's been given information by the left-hand angels, right? Just as the Lord has given us Israelites information and knowledge to break down the scriptures, right? The left-hand angels are working with Esau, and they give him, you know, what he needs to make what you're seeing here, right? These spacecraft, right? These triangle anti-gravity spacecraft, which will soon be a lot more present, right? And when you look at them, let's go right here. Here's the U.S. patent, triangular spacecraft. Abstract, a spacecraft having a triangular hull and with vertical electrostatic line charges on each corner that produce a horizontal electric field parallel to the sides of the hull. This field, interacting with a plane wave emitted by antennas and the side of the hull, generate a force per volume combining both lift and propulsion, right? So that red glow that you've seen in this image here, that right there is that glow that this patent is talking about, right? This is the patent if you want to look it up, right? And this was filed back in 2004. So you see, this is Esau's, you know, his system, and he's bringing it out now for everybody to see. And if you want to look this up, you could, you know, look up that number. Just I'll put it here, right? But just type in, go to Google Patents, type in triangular spacecraft, and you'll find this, right? Or just copy, or just, you know, write that down, and you can look it up yourself and you can read this. But again, what we're looking at is we're looking at Esau's great alien deception that he's going to bring forth so that way he can have an excuse to weaponize space. Because again, what did that alien do at the very end? That he said that even if they managed to stop the nuclear weapons, they managed to stop this one guy. What's coming next? Another issue, and it was so grave and so scary that even the alien went crazy, right? See, that's the trick right there. That's how they're gonna get everybody on board with this, because just like in the movie Independence Day 2, when they basically were telling everybody that you know, the first aliens came, but that they were coming to save them from the second wave of aliens, which were really the bad guys. Well, you see, the second wave of aliens, let me cut to the chase, is actually the Messiah and God, who are actually going to come back to earth to save the Israelites, the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, from the current wicked rulers of the earth, that being the Edomites or the Caucasian race. Okay, and they're going to put out all the powers and the status quo upon the face of the earth. All the nations are going to destroy all of them and their ruling power over the earth, and they're going to establish a true world order where the Lord, the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, he's going to be reigning over the entire world, and then below him is going to be King David, who's come back in the reincarnation. And below King David is going to be all us Israelites as the priests of the Most High. And it's going to be our jobs to rule this world righteously, right? But before that, this is what's going to happen. This is Revelations 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, right? That being Esau, Edom, the Caucasian race, all their nuclear power, which is basically NATO, the U.S. force, EU, those spacecraft that I just showed you, all these spacecraft that are being revealed by by the government. And the dragon fought, and his angels, right? So again, the chariots of Esau are going to fight against the chariots of the Lord, but they're going to be destroyed. Let's continue. And prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven, which means they're going to basically be destroyed. They're going to be wiped out. They're going to lose this war against God. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, right, deceiver, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation, the strength and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, right? Who is the accuser of our brethren? That's Esau. That's the nation of Edom, right? The current ruling race upon the face of the earth. That would be the Caucasian race, and that includes Amalek over there in the land of Israel today, the Israelis, right? Even though they try to say they're not white, they are. They're the same people, except for they've taken on a different identity, right? Is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. So you see, these devils right now, they're just setting the stage for this false alien invasion, the Blue Book, or Project Bluebeam, excuse me, right? To deceive the entire world, to deceive those who loved wickedness. There's Revelations 3:11. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. So you see, Akim, what we're seeing now, man, with talking of the new pandemic or the tridemic, right? They're going to say that there's going to be all these things coming, right? The economy is going to be devastated. The food supply is going to be devastated, and now you're going to be inundated with aliens' existence. See, these devils are trying to wear us down at every corner. They're trying to destroy all of everything that we hold on to. So that way, once they're done, they can come forward with their new world order and they can give us a solution. But again, hold fast to that which thou hast. And what is that? The gospel which was preached unto you, right? Which is the gospel that the apostles pushed, that me and the other brothers push, right? That is the truth. Don't let these devils scare you, just like they scared all these other people with the whole jump shot, or what's going on with all the psyops going on. Don't let Esau get into your mind, right? Hold fast, Akim. These devils are going to come with all deceivableness, right? And they're going to come as angels of lights, like they are the saviors. But again, never trust thy enemy. So Akim, I know this video was long, but I wanted to include these videos because, again, I just wanted to touch upon the subject. So with all that, hopefully you were edified. Till the next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakok Dash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.